Um, we will get started. And if people come in, Ashley, you can just let them in. I meant to introduce Ashley the other day and I apologize, but Ashley Crook is on with us and she is our marketing associate. I know I mentioned that at the end, but I didn't introduce her in the beginning. So my apologies. Ashley is also here if you guys have any questions and I'm not available. She's helping me with all things Gift for Good. So, okay. So today we are going to be talking about the Lagniappe Fund, which I know is of interest to everybody, prizes as well, and then events. So we are really excited to be able to have events again. So we're going to get into some of that and go over some needs that are required for that, and then also some ideas. But I would love to hear from anyone on the meeting today if you have ideas on what has worked for your organization. So we will jump into all that in just a second. Here we go. Okay. So just some things to mention. I know I discussed this on Tuesday, but just so you know, we do have a video out there on building and editing your profile and how to maximize that and make it the best and most appealing so that you can attract lots of donors who may not be familiar with your organization on Gift for Good Day. The other training from Tuesday is recorded and out there on the resources page. So that for those that weren't there, we covered all marketing pertaining to Gift for Good, peer-led fundraising, and some other offers from our media partners. So lots of great opportunities out there for you guys to take advantage of to market your organization on Gift for Good. So that email, a whole list of all of those offers also went out in an email yesterday. So look for that. If you're not seeing our emails, please check your spam because MailChimp does like to go to spam. So please, and there's a way that you can accept those to come to your main inbox. So please do that. You don't want to miss anything that we will communicate very often throughout this next month or so on all things Gift for Good via email. So just keep an eye on that. Also on the resources page, there are any other, all the important documents that you might need, graphics, marketing resources, lots of logos and Facebook event header cover photos and things like that. So take advantage of those. And then, yeah, like I mentioned, add us to your contacts. So everything that you are going to need is going to be under that giftforgoodnla.org resources page. So it's full of lots of information. So please make sure you're checking that out. Again, going over the rules and reminders, Gift for Good is here to raise unrestricted dollars for your organization. So we are not able to earmark dollars, donors' gifts to specific programs. So when they're checking out, that they are giving to the overall organization and nothing can be designated. So just keep that in mind. No benefits can be received from Gift for Good donations. So no tickets to events, no sponsorships, no goods and services, period, can be received from Gift for Good donations. We are the ones that send the tax donation letters. So because that gift does come to the community foundation, we are the one that needs to acknowledge that. We encourage you to send thank yous, but the official tax acknowledgement letter will come from us on the day of. And those also, just so you know, we get a lot of calls throughout the year, and you may as well, on how can I get my my receipt or whatever from my Gift for Good donations. And now on the Gift for Good page at the bottom of the homepage, they can go in and enter their name and email and pull up those receipts and then get that resent to themselves. So that's really convenient. And a lot of people don't know about that, but we're also here for that if anyone is having trouble. All right, so we're going to get into this once we start talking about events, but insurance will be required to host an event. And that is also we have an outline of everything that you need to know regarding that and everything that your insurance agent will need to know. That is on the resources page as well. So we'll touch briefly on that as we get into events. All right, Lagniappe fund. Okay, so I know this is kind of tricky and confusing for a lot of people, including donors. And so we really like our organizations to be knowledgeable about what this actually is, so that donors don't think that they are getting 100% match on their gifts. So the Lagniappe fund is a pool of dollars that is distributed amongst all the organizations during Gift for Good, as long as you raise $500. As I said, it is not a dollar for dollar. It is a pro rata match based on how much you raise of the total dollars raised on Gift for Good. So like you have to raise $500 to receive the Lagniappe dollars, and all gifts up to $10,000 can count towards the Lagniappe fund. So what that means is it doesn't mean that anything above $10,000 that you raise, it means an individual gift of $10,000. That is the cap for Lagniappe fund. So if you have a donor who gives $11,000 in one gift, that only $10,000 will be counted in the Lagniappe calculations. Was that everything? No. I wanted to go back. Sorry, I guess I missed one. I wanted to go back and just kind of talk a little bit more about this, so, and help you guys understand how that's calculated. So every year we have typically around $230 to $200, about $200 to $230 in Lagniappe funds. So that percentage that you will get is based on the total amount, the percentage of the total amount that you raised. Sorry, hold on, this is confusing. The percentage of the total amount raised versus the percentage that you raised of that amount. So for instance, if you raised $10,000 and total amount raised on Gift for Good was $20,000, you're going to get a 0.5% of the Lagniappe fund. So because that's 10,000 is 0.5% of the total raised, so you will get a 0.5% of the Lagniappe fund. So that ends up being $1,000. So typically what we see is an average about a 10% boost that you will receive on your total amount. So if you raise 150,000, you will get approximately, depending on the amount and how much is raised overall, approximately anywhere from, you know, $12,000 to $15,000. So it's a pretty nice boost. Okay, events. And if anyone has questions about the Lagniappe, we can talk about that now. We can also open that up at the end, because I know it's kind of confusing. No, we're going into prizes. My bad, y'all. So prizes, another fun thing to talk about. So every year we have about $22,000 up for grabs. That will probably stay the same unless we have some generous donors that want to contribute to that pool, and we can designate some more. But right now we have 24 prizes that are announced on Gives Day at $500 each. And then we have about 10,000 in post Gives Day prizes. So what post Gives Day is those are based on, you know, how much you raise overall throughout the day. So the Gives Day prizes, we'll go through some of those, but let's talk about the rules real quick. So you can only win one prize on the Gives Day. Your organization can win one prize. So as far as the post Gives Day prizes, there are no restrictions. You may win multiple of those depending. And then we also have the social media prizes that we'll talk about. So a lot of the prizes you'll see are divided into small, medium, and large categories based on your operating budget. And those levels are outlined on your profile. You can see where you fall. So it ranges from anything less, if your operating budget is less than 100,000, you are in the small category. Anything between 100 and 499,000, you're in the medium category, and an operating budget of 500,000 or more, you're in the large category. So here's the list of the prizes, and we'll walk through some of those They can be a little bit, some are pretty self-explanatory, some are, a little bit tricky, but so the first gift that comes in at 12 or midnight, 12:01 on Give for Good Day, your organization would receive the $500 prize for that. If that gift went to you, that is going to go to your organization. So the golden ticket prizes, those are randomly drawn, and those are also will be restricted based on your organization size. And so those are just kind of distributed throughout the day, and there's 12 of those total. Like you'll see here, so the organization, any gifts that come in between 1 and 2 a.m., for instance, there's a random drawing of any of those for each category, each organization size. So those would be randomly drawn, and your organization could win that. So one thing that you should consider is getting some of your supporters to go on during those times in the middle of the night, because that pool of gifts is pretty small. And so those are some really good opportunities to win some of those prizes. The Sunrise Prize, that is the most donations. There's no restriction on that, but most donations between 5 and 6 a.m. See, the Early Giving Prize, that's the most donations between April 19th and May 2nd. So we encourage you to get your donors, get out there and get their gifts in there as soon as possible once early giving opens. The 1961 prize, that's just a prize that we like to give based on our founding year. So the 1,961st gift that comes in, that prize will be given to your organization. We also have the Facebook contest that I mentioned. We have an event out there. We would love for you to go ahead and go RSVP going to that, and then start sharing that event. And we'll have some guidelines on that that'll be posted shortly on how you can work to win that prize. And some others that are pretty self-explanatory, the lunch hour prize, so no restriction on those. And you can see over on the left, like the timing, the qualifying hours, and then the time that those will be announced. So if you have any questions about those specific prizes, feel free to drop them in the chat or ask at the end. There's some other things to note for new organizations who have never participated. We do have a prize for the, what do we call that one? The notable newcomer. That was a cute little name. So that's a first-time participant with the largest number of donors. So not the largest amount raised, but the largest number of donors. And then we also have the most improved. So anyone who, the largest increase in the number of donors from 2021 to 2022. Okay, so the Post Gives Day prizes, those are announced at the check presentation, which we are pretty sure that we'll be able to have this year. So that's where we come together after all the calculations are done, after all the donations are processed in June, and we distribute those checks publicly to your organization. So we like to have a little fun with that. And so we're excited to hopefully be able to do that again. And so as you can see, like there's all of these different categories, that most improved and notable newcomer, those are also Post Gives Day prizes. And then the others are broken down in the organization size. So every one, there's a prize for first, second, and third for all levels of organizations. Okay. There's your organization budget categories. Okay, so going into events, we're pretty excited that we will be able to have open events again, and you guys can get creative and do the things that make you feel most energized and get some of your supporters out in front of your organization. So we are pretty excited about that. And I definitely want to hear from you guys who have participated in the past as we go through this. If you have any suggestions or ideas or things that have been really successful for you, please feel free to share those. Okay, so why host an event? So we feel like it's a great way. One, the whole day is just it's here to energize the community, to rally people to do good, to give back, and to do good for our community. So hosting an event is a great way to show off your facility. If you have something that, could be appealing to donors, say like the food bank, that's a really great opportunity to do a tour and show people what your operation's like and what's going on behind closed doors. It's a great way for your staff and volunteers to interface with your donors and to gain new supporters. Hopefully your donors would bring friends and things that may not know about your organization. And then we have opportunities where you could partner with local businesses or other nonprofits to give back to your organization as well. And then, as we said, attracting new donors, that is a great goal for these events and a great opportunity to do so. So one thing to note, Give for Good is about, like we said, building community, engaging donors. It's not an opportunity. It's not the best time for you to have your annual fundraising gala or a large event that's a traditional fundraiser. It's really about just building excitement and showcasing your work and hopefully getting some donations in the process. So that's just something to think about as you're planning your events. You really don't want this to become your goal is not to make this a fundraiser. It's just a way to get yourself out there and create some excitement around the day. Okay, so what I wanted to do today was just walk through some events that have been hosted in the past, and just particularly for new people and for people who haven't hosted events. I think it's a good opportunity to just show you what others are doing that has worked and been fun. So this is where also I encourage you to chime in. I'm not seeing the chat box, so if I'm missing anything, I apologize. Spirit nights, those are where local restaurants, businesses choose to give back to your organization. They may host you, like you see here, with the table where you can set up and talk to people about your services. It may just be where they are giving back to your organization for anyone who buys dinner there, says they're there to support your organization. So there's various forms of that, but a lot of local restaurants do that. They do partner with organizations. And one thing that I will share with you guys that we just learned, and is something I think is possibly may affect this, is that it's also going to be restaurant week during Give for Good. So that is where the local tourism bureau creates excitement around the local food scene, and they are already asking restaurants to discount their prices for that night or that week. And so I just want you guys to be aware. So if you're planning on doing a restaurant spirit night, go ahead and get in front of them and ask if they can secure that date for you. And what they also could do is do it during early giving. It doesn't necessarily have to be on Give for Good Day. They could do it all throughout those 2 weeks. And what they would do is the percentage of sales that were designated to you that night, they can either cut you a check and your organization can go online and process that with a credit card, or they can pay their donation on your profile with their own credit card. And so, like, for instance, we have a restaurant, my husband and I, but we will not be doing that this year. But last year we waited till the end of the night, and then we just used our company card and went on the site and donated to that organization. So it worked out really nicely, but it is, again, an online event, so we cannot accept checks from those businesses that support you. So there's a lot of restaurants and, like the breweries and stuff that like to give back during this time. So think about reaching out to them. Some other fun things that have happened, Goldman School, I don't know if they still do it, but at one point they did like a field day on Give for Good Day, where they had just fun, jumpy houses and different activities for the kids and for the families and supporters to come out and just be excited to be there and be amongst those other families and be excited about what's happening on their campus. CADA did this drunken goggles virtual reality thing at their location. I think that was in 2019. And so that was really fun. If Susan's on here, she can maybe chime in a little while and give us some more information about that and other things that have worked for her. Here you see on the right, you'll see the LSU Health, School of Allied Health. They did a bingo night for a couple years at Great Raft. So just doing something that's not just, you know, you get some people together, you're playing games and activities, building some excitement, having some fun, just really enjoying being together. So people do trivia nights and lots of different things. So those are some good ideas. And then another opportunity would be to showcase your site and just having people, and that might not work for everyone, but having people out to your organization so they can see what your clients see and what they experience. And so for instance, like Common Ground here, they had a little get together at their place where they could bring their donors, supporters, families that they're that are clients and that utilize their services, all come together and just celebrate the day. So really encourage that. That can be really neat. And, you know, for people who haven't necessarily been to your site and seen you at work, that's a really great way to bring them together. Robinson Film Center, they did a birthday party. I think this was in 2018. And so they're in their event space upstairs, and they're just celebrating all the good work that they do, all the fun stuff that they have at the film center. And so lots of different ways that you can create some excitement and some fun around the day. This year, the Community Foundation will be set up at Whole Foods during like lunch hour. So we're not going to have the nonprofit fair like we have had in the past, just because we figure now that events are open, you guys are going to want to be doing your own thing throughout the day. So, but we will be there if you want to stop by and see us. We're going to be just there to have a presence and help people who may not be so tech savvy and want to get out there or want to support, but don't know or feel comfortable operating the site. So we'll be there to assist them and just hopefully grab people that are shopping and want to know and don't know about Gift for Good, so we can inform them and get them engaged. The biggest thing is just get creative. These girls last year, Millie and Megan at Providence House, they had a lemonade stand right there on the corner, right outside the facility, right there on the corner of Cotton and Common. And so it was just a way to get people's attention. And so I think one, it's super cute too. And we use that picture a lot for the Gift for Good page and other materials. So just, you know, getting creative and thinking about something that's different where you can just get in front of people and maybe catch some people that aren't necessarily your current supporters. Okay, so the event rules. Again, no benefits can be received for your donation. So if you're having people on your site and say you're doing, I mean, you can give away, if you're having a party at a different location or at your location, you can give away things, but you cannot give them away based on whether or not someone gave a donation. So you could, you know, if you're going to give something out, you have to give it to everyone that's there. There's no restrictions on whether or not they gave. So same, you know, tickets, memberships, merchandise, raffles. You're just not we can't incentivize people to give based on receiving something in return. About the insurance, we do require insurance, that you carry insurance for your event, and that the Community Foundation is also insured under that. So we have on the resources page an outline of what that certificate looks like and everything that you would need to give to your insurance agent so that they know everything that is required. So go out to the resources page under event guidelines and insurance information or something like that. You can click that and that document will pull up and you can send that over to your insurance agent. If you have any questions about that, please reach out to us and we're happy to assist you. The other thing that we do require is that you put the event information on your profile. And the reason is that we actually export that for us to know where we need to, have people visit through the day, whether that's, we send a staff member or a photographer. Hopefully this year we're going to have a videographer who can come around and kind of just get some snippets of your event so we can utilize those for future purposes. So please put that information on your Give for Good profile. That and the certificate of insurance must be uploaded. It's actually supposed to be April 18th, but the day before early giving opens, we need to have all that information in place and have approved your event. So please get that out there as soon as you know. And that's under the events tab on your public profile. I mentioned this the other day in the training, but for those of you who were not there, we will be having our pep rally again on the KTVS First Cup Morning Show. That's going to be Tuesday, May 3rd, the day of Give for Good, from 4 to 6 a.m. So we will, it'll be dark and it'll be early and it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to be on the Shreveport Aquarium Event Center. So that's on the riverfront side. And the backdrop for that event is going to be the Bukowski Bridge lit up in green and white for Give for Good Day. So we're pretty excited about that. And the bridge will be lit up from midnight on Give for Good to midnight from May 3rd all the way to midnight that night. So we are really excited about that location and having the bridge lit up. So please come and join us. Bring your posters, bring your shirts, your spirit shirts, whatever you want to do, but let's just rally and get people excited for the day. And from what Emily has said, like that's when a lot of the donations are coming in. And so people are watching that morning show all over the Arklatex and are learning about Give for Good and getting on there to contribute. So that's pretty cool. And I will provide more information about that and how to sign up and anything that you might need to know about that event prior to. Okay, so just before I open this up, these are just some important dates to note. As I said, April 18th is the last day to edit your profile, upload that event information, and then provide your certificate of insurance. So please get that to us as soon as you can. And definitely by April 18th. April 19th, online giving begins, and you will start seeing those donations coming through on the back end. You will not see those on your leaderboard until midnight on May 3rd. So you can see what else coming in on the back end, but the public does not see it on the leaderboard until Give for Good Day. So you can actually start thanking your donors, any ones that come in during early giving. You can start thanking them prior to Give for Good. So, they may give again. So you never know. All right. I would like to open this up for anyone who has suggestions on events, questions about the Lagniappe or prizes. Let me see. Okay. No one's been in the chat, so that's good. Are there any questions? Millie, I saw you come on and you just missed where I showed your lemonade stand. And so would you like to chime in and just let us know like what spawned that idea and how that worked out? Like, did you guys get a lot of visitors? How'd it go?
Yeah. So am I muted? No, I'm not muted. Okay. Actually, so last year, I think in one of the trainings, they were just talking about how if you're going to have an event, make it make sense to your organization. So a couple years ago during the pandemic, Robinson shifted and they passed out popcorn in the street, kind of because they're a movie theater. So like that made sense. And so we were trying to be like, okay, well, I worked with Providence House and we were like, how does it make sense for the homeless population? What event could you have? So we kind of did a spinoff of When Life Hands You Lemons, make lemonade, because everyone at Providence House was obviously falling on hard times. And how do you make lemonade from that? So we actually had some of the dads in our program paint our lemonade stand to kind of showcase that we're not only a program for women, we also have men. And so it was kind of a full circle thing where our families helped us build these lemonade stands, because they would build a lemonade stand for their kids just like you would build one for yours. So it was successful in a sense. It got a lot of awareness, and people saw it throughout town, and that was great. The downside was, what we learned was, when we had them in what we thought would be high traffic areas, weren't necessarily the areas of people who were willing to donate to a cause just because they were there. You really should, what we learned from that was that you should actually host your event kind of where your demographic would be, in a sense, and those people who can relate to that more are more likely to give to your cause. But overall, it was really cute. We really liked it, and I saw your billboard.
Yes, yes. Well, I did not know the premise of that, and that is even cuter. So I love it. I do agree, and I appreciate you sharing kind of the lessons that you took away from that. So just really thinking about the best place for you to have a presence throughout the day. Definitely agree. So, and you can have a presence in 2 different places. You can start your morning on your site. You could end your night at a restaurant or wherever. So just think about that. We are all over the place throughout that day. We'll be on First Cup at 4 a.m. We'll be in the office prior to that, starting at midnight. We will be at Whole Foods around lunchtime, and then who knows where the evening will bring us. So we're hopping all over. So if that works for your staff and your capabilities, then we encourage you to do the same. Is there anyone else? I see Audrey has a question. Yeah, Audrey, if you want to ask that question about the donor advice fund, you're welcome to, but I'll answer your other question real quick. There is a prize for donations. Let me see. It is the most donations received prior to Give for Good. So April 19th to May 2nd, it is the organization who wins or who gets the most donations.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, great. So my question about the donor advised fund, I understand that is for individuals who want to pay $5,000 or more towards an organization. And that would they be able to pay by check? I believe you said they could. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, so they could give that donation in the form of a check to the community foundation to create that fund. So
Right.
where it's tricky is they have to understand that they have to create the donor advised fund, not just bring a check.
And where do they do that?
Here at the community foundation, they can reach out to me. I can connect them with Christy. Christy usually sets up all of those. Christy Gustafson is our CEO. So she deals with all of those. But we're happy I can connect them very easily. So.
Okay, so all we need to do is tell our donors, if they wish to make a donation of $5,000 or more that would be applied to the Give for Good campaign for an organization, they can reach out to Community Foundation directly.
That is correct.
And what would be the deadline for them to do that?
We really want to have everyone have everything done by May 2nd. It takes very little time. It's really just a matter of some paperwork and some discussions amongst the donor and Christy, but it can be done quickly. It's just that because we're all over the place on Give for Good Day, it's not ideal for her to be working on those that day. So anything that we can do before May 3rd.
Oh, for sure. That's a lot later than I would have thought you said. So no problem at all. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think someone else was raising their hand. Jessica.
Yeah, I have a question, and this may just be a really silly question. This is my first time being involved with the Give for Good. But if your organization is not directly based out of Shreveport or Bossier, can you still host your event within the location that your community is supporting?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it would not make sense for you to host that anywhere else. Unfortunately, depending on where you are, it's unlikely that we would actually be able to come visit your event, but
Right.
just because we are a small staff, but we definitely encourage you to do that. I think one year, I don't know which organization it was, but someone in Ruston did Race for Good. And so they had a 5K or whatever during that, I don't know if it was the day of, but yeah, there's people that are doing things all over, and we highly encourage that for you to build that excitement in your community as well. We would love for this to grow bigger and throughout the Northeast, Louisiana area as well. So
Perfect. And then say we were to do like an event like a walkathon or a race for good, something along those lines. Would all donations have to be made online, or could they still be contributed like via cash or checks?
So in order for those to go into your pool, that will then be shown on one, your leaderboard, and two, used in totaling the calculation of your dollars raised for the Lagniappe Fund and prizes, you would definitely have to have that, those contributions made via credit card. Now, what you could do is if you were, if donors gave cash the day of, if your organization had a credit card that they could put that on, they can do that.
Okay.
And same for checks, they can collect those, but the donation has to come in the form of a gift of a credit card on the website in order for that to be counted.
Okay,
The
perfect.
other thing that I wanted to mention that I forgot about is there are some credit card swiper options now. So for people that are hosting events, it's really nice to have. You can plug it into your phone. There are some links to those that you would need to purchase, the specific ones on the resources page as well. So I think there's like 4 different types, and you can order those on, I believe most of them are on Amazon, and you can plug those into your phone. And so people can swipe their cards. If they don't want to go on and navigate the whole site, they can do it that way. Anyone
Perfect.
else?
Thank you very
You're welcome.
Amanda,
Yeah.
if your organization has a restaurant who is going to sponsor you and give you a certain percentage of the sales for that particular evening or day or whatever, am I correct in assuming that you do not need insurance for that?
So if you're going to be on that, at that site, and having your donors, encouraging your donors to come see you and visit, like say you have a table set up or whatever, I believe you do, but I will confirm that. I'm pretty sure you have to have, if you're inviting people to come to a specific location, I do believe you have to, but I can't see who's asking this question.
Bonnie Martinez with St. Vincent de Paul.
Okay. Hey, Bonnie, let me just confirm that and I will
Okay.
let you know. Ashley, can you speak to that at all?
Hey, yes, I am not sure about that either, but we can definitely figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another scenario to go along with that, what if you are advertising this and getting it out to your prospective donors, but you're not physically there during that day with a table set up?
Yeah, I don't think you do. And that's where at first I was certain that you did, but then, thinking back to that, I don't believe that you do, but let me just confirm. I don't want to speak too surely
Yeah.
about that.
And can you address both of those scenarios, please?
Yes,
One
absolutely.
with a table and presence and the other without and no presence. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? All right, well, I really appreciate you guys being on twice in 1 week and participating and giving some great suggestions and some great questions. So I am here if you need anything. As I said, you can reach out to the Give for Good email. My email is Falan, and that's F as in Frank, ELAN @cfnla.org. But just rest assured, every email that goes to the Give for Good comes directly to me as well. So you're welcome to give me a call at the office as well if you need anything. One last thing to note is, we just really encourage you guys to follow us on social media, and because we share so much content that might be helpful to you and that you could share with your base. And so we also have a new Instagram, and we'll be probably doing a lot of stuff around Good for Good that day. And we'll probably add a prize for on Instagram as well. So please go follow us, and we will get all this excitement going in the next week or so. So, okay. Well, if y'all need anything, let us know.